Hello all, Jamie Rogers here from Jamie Rogers Crafts, and today I thought we'd have a little look at a really quick, simple, clean and elegant Christmas card created with some of my Christmas Essential die collection. So today we're going to be playing around with a few of the dies. We're going to use our classic poinsettia die plate. Now this is a one die plate that cuts all of these elements and also debosses these details for you onto your die cuts so that they're really pretty and very elegant and very easy to accentuate and decorate. This set is JRCD0012. We're also going to be using the Festive Foliage set. This one is JRCD0013, and in here we have all different foliage pieces, including this beautiful holly branch which we're going to be using on today's project. There's actually 6 dies in total, so you've got quite a bit of scope on how you can use these. And this one was designed so it would work not only with the classic poinsettia, but also the poinsettia petals set too. So it's kind of in the middle of all of those sizes, so it works and fits in nicely. We're also going to be playing with the Happy Christmas Circle sentiment. Now this set has 3 dies in here. Its code is JRCD0014, and with your 3 different dies you've got an outside edge which is perfectly interchangeable with the Merry Christmas, the With Love and the Happy Birthday, so that you can use different edges to go around all of them and then interchange them for more versatility. You've then got a flat line edge in the middle here. That one you can use to create your mats and layers to go with your sentiment, or you can use it with your delicate sentiment die to cut that out as a freestanding item to then use on your projects. Without that, that central panel will stay in your cardstock and give you some really cool effects. So I'll just give you a flash of the boards of these so you can see them as well. This is our classic poinsettia, so you can hopefully see all that deboss work that will be done on that set. This is our Festive Foliage set, showing you again the deboss work on the holly branches and the lovely double stack panel ability that's going on with that holly piece down there. And then when we talk about our sentiments, I did just mention this, but we've got the Happy Christmas set. This is the one that will stay in. This is the extra one to cut that out so you can have it as a freestanding item. And then you've got that lovely postage stamp edge that goes with it as well. And as I mentioned, interchangeability between this one, the Happy Birthday, the With Love and the Merry Christmas for that outside edge. So always great to collect the set and play around with creating different effects with them. So what we're going to do to begin with then is bring in a few of our die cuts and start playing with these. So I've gone ahead and I've cut out, this is the medium size of our poinsettia, and I've got a couple in green and I've got a couple in red. Now I've used our lovely Elite cardstock and I have gone for Heritage Green and Romantic Red. Now one of the nice bits with this die set is your ability to add more to them because of that deboss feature. So if you wish to add a little bit of colour, maybe with gilding polishes or waxes, or of course with inks, that's also going to work a treat for us. So I'm going to bring in some good old faithful distress inks. I'm going to be using pine needles and aged mahogany. Now I have had these for donkey's years, but I absolutely love them and I think the colours are perfect. And all I'm going to do is just brush this straight over the top. And what we're doing is we're adding that sort of vintage texture and sort of feel to these lovely petals. And of course, because of those debossed elements, we're highlighting the top areas and leaving them debossed pieces the original heritage green colour. And I just think this is a really nice way to dress them up. You can do this with more subtle shades if you wish to, or of course different colours of cardstock, but I just find this a really nice finishing touch to highlight and bring out that depth and pattern that's debossed into the petals. We'll do the same with the aged mahogany, just so you can see that over the top of the Romantic Red. This again will give us a nice vintage feel. Now if you did want to go around these with a little bit of gilding polish or wax or gilded touch or one of those other mediums which are going to give you that little bit of shimmer to them as well, that could work really nicely. So I'm not going to do this too much, we're just going to go again for that central part. And I'll show you this one just so you can see that done too. So a little bit more vintage, a little bit more sort of traditional. I'll also show you this card to you. This isn't the one we're working on, but it shows you how if you stick to your polar white for your die cuts, do very similar with the inks, and then bring in some sort of gold gilded wax, gilded touch, gilding polish, and add that to it, how vintage you can get this. Same with your holly, same with your sprigs, and of course the same with your tree. So it's just nice to see different ways in which you can use these same ideas and build them up even further. Now another nice part about this flower is its ease for forming. So let's go actually with a bone folder for this one and just share this with you. So very easy to take this and round each of these petals to give them a more 3D effect, but actually they're also very easy to shape with tweezers and create sort of a more jagged feel to them, or just pick them up and give them a little crease or fold so that you've got a more traditional sort of shape going on here as well. And you can do this with all of the different sizes. Don't forget, this is the step down version. There is a larger poinsettia within that set. We are looking at this one on our little board here, but of course there is a larger one, and you've got these pieces as well that you could add into the mix too if you wish to. So once we've created our panel and we're ready to, we can then start building this up. So if we bring in a bit of our glue, so we're going to be using today the Jamie Rogers clear drying glue. This is one of our newer products that we've just released, and it's great because it's got a 3-part nozzle. It has this perfect cap to go on it to make sure that your nozzle doesn't dry or get clogged, and then you've got that really strong nozzle again that you cut the top off of, so you can pick how thick or thin you wish for that to be. We're going to go ahead and direct some of this into the centre. As I mentioned, it dries clear, so even if we do get a little bit carried away, it's not the end of the world. And it's got quite a quick grab to it, but the nice bit with this glue is it also gives you a bit of wiggle room. You don't have to panic too quickly that it's set and there's no moving it. Now I've gone ahead and I've built this one up here, slightly different to the one I've done there, and I chose not to ink this one. Again, these are all options I'm giving you to decide upon when you come to create something similar to this project. But we're going to use this one on today's project. So we'll take that out of the way for the second, and we'll bring in a couple of our mats and layers. So I've gone ahead and I know that I'm going to be using the Heritage Green, the Romantic Red and the Gold Merrry card because I know they're coming up in the future layers. So card size wise, I've gone for a card that's 7 3/4 inches by 7 3/4 inches, and I've stepped down 1/4 inch throughout my layers. I'm then going to bring in one of our inked foilables, or our, I never remember the name of these, but they're our foilable Inkables, something along them lines. They're our panels in which you can ink on them, but they're foiled. And what will happen is that your foiling will resist the ink and it will then shine through, but you can colour the panel to match in with the rest of your project. So perhaps we would have liked to have added some of the aged mahogany maybe and distressed around the edge of here, and then added the green in the middle coming out, to knowing that we're then going to build up on top of that with our die cuts. This foil will resist our dye inks and then still shine through, and it just gives you a really lovely effect. So I'm going to take this one and I'm going to place it down on the top here. These also come in silver, and they also come in circles as well as these square designs. So you've got a few options for these, but they're something that's proved very popular and one I really like working with. We're then going to bring in our postage edge die cut. Now this of course comes with our sentiment, and we're going to roughly line that up to the middle of our panel and place that down. We're then going to bring in one of our Heritage Green cuts, and this of course is the flat edge circle, which again comes in with our sentiments, and we're going to place that down on top of there. We're then going to bring in our Happy Christmas. Now this again has been cut with the filigree panel, and it's been cut with that outside flat edge, which is going to marry up perfectly with our Heritage Green circle that we just added on. I'm going to put a little bit of glue out onto my skin. Now we do recommend you don't put glue on your skin, any glue, but I never follow the rules, so you don't have to follow me in this one, but it just makes gluing this nice and simple and easy. I can just pat it through and add it on. But of course, with any mediums like this, if you do put them on your skin, make sure you wash them off nice and quickly, just so you don't have any reactions. And that applies to all different paints, glues, mediums. We never know what reactions we might well have, so it's good to not gamble. But I've been doing this for a long time and I'm still here, so I'm going to carry on as I am. But you know, trade with ease. We're then going to bring in our holly panel, and we're going to do very similar to this one. We're going to bring in a piece of card, and we're going to bring in our green distress ink, which again is the pine needles, and we're going to go down the holly leaves. Now these again have got that beautiful deboss section on them, and I know that that means that we're going to get that vein shine through in the Heritage Green shading. Now I'm going to bring this down the stem as well, or down the branch. And we're going to turn this over and just pat this so that we get any excess ink off of this, so that we can go on and colour this next with some pens. So again, a little tip that I like to bring in or do is adding in the colours for the berries. So I'm going to use some metallic markers. Now I love these Nova ones because they show up even on dark cardstock. And I'm going to go on with the gold to begin with, so that I've got that nice metallic base to it. There is a red in this set, so if you would prefer to just go directly in with red, you absolutely can do. But I find the red's a little bit pink, and I would prefer a slightly darker red, but of course that's optional, and different pens are available, and you could of course create different effects with all of them. And then we're going to bring in our piece of card again, because this is where we're going to add our red to our berries. So we're going to bring in an alcohol marker now, and then we're going to go over the top of the gold. Now this is great because that gold's going to work as a barrier, so that the red isn't just, because if we just did the red over the top of the green, obviously it's going to absorb in, it's an alcohol ink, you're going to pretty much lose it. But colouring over the top of that gold is working like a barrier for us, and it's going to give us that red that's going to sit on top there and give our berries a nice metallic red feel to them. The alcohol ink will also take on the pearlescence, or that sort of shimmer from the metallic markers, and it's just a nice way to add colour into areas with pens that you might not necessarily have in all of the colours you might wish to have. We're then going to do exactly the same with this to round them. We're going to bring in our bone folder, just round out our holly pieces, give them a little bit of a form. And I've got a few extra ones of these as well, so we'll bring these ones down and again just give them a little bit of a shape if we can keep hold of them. This is about the third video I filmed today, and everything I touch I seem to drop. It's not good, but we'll carry on rounding these out. Now again with these, if you would prefer, you can easily fold down on those crease lines or on them deboss lines and have more sort of a prickly look to your holly, and that works really nicely as well. So shape it as you wish to, but I'm going to go for the rounded style on these ones. We're going to bring back in our card. We're going to add a small amount of glue just going down the branch here to the holly, and we're going to bring this over and place this going down the side of our panel, knowing that we're going to join up here with our poinsettia to cover that central part. We're going to add another bit of glue going down on this one, and we're going to bring this one coming out from this side. Now, of course, there are quite a few different components in the foliage set, so you might wish to bring in a couple of the branches or the berries or the other bits, similar to what I've done on this card, if you'd prefer a more filled-in effect. We're then going to bring in the poinsettia. We're going to add some glue onto the reverse of this one, and we're going to anchor that down on top there, crossing over where our branches cross, just making sure not to get too much over where our Christmas sentiment is. And that completes our very quick, very simple, very easy card, which I really like because I like the foil and the shimmer that goes between the Merrry card, the panel and the sentiment, and then even into the gems and the pearls. But of course, this is one of those projects that you could dress up a lot further. You could do that inking like we spoke about on the panel. You could bring in more flowers. You could bring in more branches. You really could go to town with adding in more to this and infilling that further. But actually, I quite like it relatively plain and simple. But this is the beauty of craft. It's down to us creating what makes us happy. Now, if you have any questions about today's demo, please let me know in the comments and I'll do my very best to answer them for you. If you would like to get hold of any of the products we were talking about, or any of the other dies and products from Jamie Rogers Crafts, and you don't already have a favourite stockist, pop on to www.jamierogerscrafts.com and find the stockist guide, and there you will be able to see where to get your hands on all of the items we've been talking about, from the die cuts to the panels to the cardstock. Thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.